Welcome to the Six Again podcast, your new destination for all things NRL. Here to bring you everything from team news to best bets are your hosts Adam Hoy and Jared Newton. Let's kick off.
Hello, listeners. Welcome into episode 33 of Six Again. My name's Adam.
Hey, guys. My name's Jared. How you going, guys?
And we first of all just want to start off with a huge thank you. Only in the last 3 to 4 weeks, our audience size has actually doubled, which has been amazing to watch. And just want to say thank you to all the people who have liked and shared and supported the podcast. It's continuing to grow. And we're up to listeners in 14 countries around the world, including Japan, Mexico, New Zealand, UK, US. There's a couple of others that I'm missing there. Bolivia.
That's
Mexico.
pretty cool.
I know. It's been Portugal, that was one of the new ones. Norfolk Island, Hong Kong, Pakistan and Germany. So if you guys are listening from overseas, thank you very much. And then also our listeners in Australia, we've expanded into every state and territory bar WA at this stage. So
yeah, who cares about them?
No, I do. There's some league fans there. They could even have an expansion team in a couple of years. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
That's a conversation for a later day. Why I don't agree with that, but it is what it is.
See, so if Jared doesn't agree with it, it's definitely going to happen. So keep an eye out.
Hey, I'm saying I've been right more times than you have this year.
Yeah, I just heard. Anyway, let's get into it. It hasn't been heaps of big stories going on, but the ones that have happened have been talked about quite a lot. So we're going to start with all the coach talk that's been going on, and specifically pretty pissed off Wayne Bennett snapping at the media, and pretty sure he's within his rights to do so. So,
look, he has teed off on him. But the thing about it is, and he's got to understand it, that he has brought this on himself. So understand with all that happened last year with his secret meetings with South Sydney and all that kind of stuff, he probably wasn't allowed to tell anyone. But in saying that too, he was just as angry last year about reporters constantly asking him questions. The year before.
Year before, yeah.
Yeah. So he did the same thing just before he moved from Broncos to South Sydney. He was saying, oh no, I'm definitely not leaving Broncos, but the board's behind me, this, that, and the other. Then he rocks up in a South Sydney shirt. Down in South Sydney, I'm surprised he didn't already have his South Sydney gear sitting in the back of his cupboard when he was saying all that kind of stuff. So the thing about rugby league is when this kind of stuff happens, when there's smoke, there's fire. So I understand that a media push a lot of shit up a hill, but we actually had Kyle Flanagan up earlier this year, and he actually said that majority media reports there's a lot of truth to it, and that's coming from a current player. Which one are we going to believe then? Because at the moment he's been linked to the Warriors, he's been linked to the Bulldogs, and then most significantly he's been linked to the Dragons. And the different Broncos, he keeps saying no, but he ended up getting fired there before he left. Yeah, but I'm not the biggest fan of Bennett. I think his record has been a tad padded over the years, just because of the fact that he's had some great players come through. And I know he's a mean manager, and he probably you have a pretty big hand in making those players. But in saying that too, he's had some great teams over the years. So for that reason, I don't believe he's prepared to go to the Warriors or Bulldogs to build a team. I reckon he's going to go to the Dragons.
At Newcastle,
but he bought that team. He bought it.
I was joking. He made the
no. That's not a joke for me. Yeah. That's close to my heart. So I reckon he'd go to Dragons just because he's got the best roster there. If he does,
will he?
You reckon?
Already stayed at Rabbits, at least for the end of next season. He'll have a hell of a lot better roster than if he goes to Dragons without Graham.
Yeah, but he knows he's going there. He knows he's going at the end of 21.
Yeah,
so out of those
that was part of the
teams,
contract. He's there till the end of 21. Jason Dimitri takes over. But yeah, the fact that the media's talking about that when there's so much else to go on.
Yeah.
And in the end,
I reckon the coolest potential signing that might be happening is supposedly the Tigers are interested in Kieran Foran.
Why?
But that's the thing. So
he'll be on a cut price deal. There's no way he'll be able to charge.
Yeah.
He's got no leverage. He's got nothing. I still with regards to the Bennett thing, you've got a 70-year-old guy who hardly talks asking a journalist if he's hard of hearing. And you've got Bennett who pretty much feigns deafness at every step.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I'm not a fan of how they keep heckling him. But in saying that too, as I explained, I reckon
Are you hitting something?
Oh, sorry.
Banging through my headphones.
I reckon he brought it on himself. But with Foran, the reason they reckon he's going to go, that the Maguire wants him, is because Benji's going to be in England next year.
Oh,
juicy. He wants experience in the halves. But in saying that too, I doubt the Bulldogs going to let their only experienced player go. So, yeah.
I don't know. Well, we'll get to Bulldogs right now, actually. So Dean Pay, the Bulldogs have a board meeting tomorrow. It's expected that he's going to get a similar deal to what McGregor got at the Dragons, 4 games to prove that he's the right guy to get an extension at the end of this year. So the Bulldogs' next 4 games against West, South, Broncos and St. George. Now, I think Dean Pay's in probably the worst position out of all the coaches are kind of on the firing line, in that he took it because it was his first head coaching job, but he had the worst roster that he didn't put together. That's come from bad recruitment, bad management, bad running of the club.
Oh.
They've put themselves in this mess, and you got to think, 2021, they're going to have $3 million pretty much freed up to use. Foreign's contracts coming off the books. But the thing is, how many players are going to want to sign with the Bulldogs, even if it's going to be good money, if they don't know who the coach is going to be?
Well, look, they're going to have to do pretty well what Newcastle did about 5 years ago. Well, 3 years ago. Take a risk. They're going to have to pay overs for a lot of people just to get them there.
Yeah.
That's probably their biggest thing. You got to turn around and ask what kind of coach are they going to bring in. So they're going to bring in someone.
Or is Dean Pay going to stay?
Yeah. So if they do bring someone, will they bring in? So Tuvey would be willing to coach anyone right now. Or you bring in someone like Eddie Jones who would create a different. I don't know, something different in the NRL. So take a gamble on an experienced coach, but he hasn't coached in rugby league. Or do you go for
what
someone...
he did with Japan in rugby, taking a bunch of...
that's right.
They are professionals, but lifting the level that they wouldn't have got to probably.
Or do you go to that same line as someone like Nathan Brown, who is... Well, he's got a reputation of building the club and then having to leave before it gets good. So it just depends how quickly Bulldogs want success, because if they've got $3 million there, they can buy a premiership in a year or two. Depends.
I don't think they can.
Get it. Oh, they got it. I mean, like, there's a few
$1 is meaning less and less and less money.
Yeah, but like with $3 million.
Oh, sorry, less and less and less players.
Yeah, so there is a lot of quality players. It just depends on their recruitment, really.
If you have $3 million, right? Say you buy a marquee player that you're willing to pay $1 million a season. I think the Bulldogs would still need another 4 or 5 signings to get them up to even mid-table or higher.
Well, when you talk about Newcastle, when Bennett brought him to the prelim, he brought Craig Gower for $350,000 back from England.
That's what I mean. You're gonna, but he's not what you consider a.
No, but they brought him off the bench as a replacement half/hooker, and he just came on. I'm pretty sure in the 8 games he played, he had about 4 or 5 try assists and about 2.5, but average 2.5 line breaks assists per game. So, like, there is players out there you can buy a premiership quickly, but in saying that too, you can do it quickly and then turn around, and when those players go off contract or they retire or whatever you do, you're going to be in the same position you were now 5 years' time. So
yeah, and even in saying that though, I don't think, like, say you got your $3 million, I'd spend, if I'm going in there, I'd be wanting a marquee, someone I can spend $1 million a season on and be like, all right, star player, whatever. But I'm looking at the rest of that squad. Out of that starting 13, if I'm trying to build a team for finals, I'm probably keeping Adam Elliott, Will Whitey,
Wateen Zelezniak.
No.
No, I would. I would have him on the wing.
Oh, yeah, maybe as a squad member, but that's
on the wing. And I would also. You got to keep Thompson. They've got to.
Oh, the Thompson coming in, yeah.
Yeah.
Fatala Mariner around.
And I'd keep Napa too.
And all right, so there you go. You got 5 out of your 13.
And then all you need is another 5 more for $3 million.
$2 million.
So that's 10. You said $3 million.
Yeah, but I'm spending $1 million on a marquee.
Yeah, so okay, you need 5 more for that. So you're looking at pretty.
You're looking for guys for $400K a year.
Look,
which is not much.
Who's a quality player you can get for 400? Who could potentially, look, Gold Coast are looking for Asiata.
Yeah,
Asiata. Asiata.
I don't know. I don't have the off contract list in front of me. I'm trying to find it.
So I'm not doing off contract. Like NRL contracts, in NRL mean shit all. Look, there'd be a Broncos forward you could probably buy to come off the bench. I'm not saying for feeder, but
Tom Flegler.
Someone like that.
Tony Staggs, be interesting.
He'd be worth about 500 now for his next contract, I reckon.
You've got Emre Gula from Raiders.
Tui Kamikamiga from Melbourne.
Hudson from the Raiders.
Yeah, there's plenty of young players who are really quality that might not win you a premiership now that you can get at a cut price deal to make a bloody good team for that.
And as I say, 5 of those players that we just mentioned, Will Hopewadi, Dylan Napa, are both off contract at the end of this year as well, so they'd cut into that cash.
Yeah. So and then
with your 5 that you need to sign as well, they're still like 4 or 5 years away. Oh, sorry, 4 years away, I'd say.
And then you still got people like, if you really wanted to bring an experienced head in, you can bring people like a Daniel Alvaro in.
Yeah.
Like
RMPG.
There's so many players out there who you could really look into that could make a team. And if you only got $3 million, you can bring them in to build that team around. And if you get 4 and fit, I know that's a big deal, but he is a game breaker. He is an NRL high-end halfback or 5'8", however you want to swing that. Then you got players like Adam Elliott, who's going to run all day, Josh Jackson, Dylan Napa, Luke Thompson, Raymond Fatala. So you got a makings of a pretty good forward. They've also got bloody Joe Stimson on their books.
Oh, I forgot about him.
Yeah, so they got not really good, but pretty fucking good forward pack. And then you look at their centre position's pretty weak. But if you can entice someone like Tony Staggs, and then I don't know, you got that young.
Say you bring that squad together. Do you think Dean Pay deserves at least a crack of coaching with a decent squad around?
Look, I do, just because of the fact we've said it all along. The Bulldogs. The thing you can't lack for them is their effort and their attitude. They don't have the players to win games, but they're in it the whole way, and they'll hit the shit out of you. When you walk off the field, you're going to play the Bulldogs. So if Dean Pay can keep that into a team that's getting belted every single week, I honestly needs a decent crack at a quality squad. Yeah, that's what I believe.
That point. All right,
So
say the cool thing is it was 2018 when we saw that last big coaching carousel. We had Seabold, Bennett, Hasler, Cleary, all change. Now, there is a possibility, that at some point in this season we'll see 5 coaches shift. This is just a possibility. You still got Dragons, Sharks, Cowboys, Bulldogs, Warriors. 4 of them are hot seat. 1 of them's kind of open. So it's interesting to see what happens.
I don't understand why people are putting him on the block. I really don't. Like, why is Paul Green on the block? I know they've had a rough couple of years, but he's made 2 premierships in the last 5 years.
2 premierships.
No, he hasn't won, but he's been in 2 premierships in the last 5 years. He won 1 in 15, and I'm pretty sure they lost 1 in 2017 without First. First one was injured, and they've still got to the finals.
The finals? Yeah.
No, grand final.
Really? 2017?
I wouldn't say. Oh, it might not be, but it might not be 2017. But I know they made 2 grand finals. Promise you. So
my memory's shocking. My team's not in. I'm just like, eh.
Yeah. So I don't know why Paul Green. I don't know why John Morris has got there. The only reason I can think John Morris is on the chopping block is because there seems to be too much, too many players' opinions in the Cronulla team.
Oh, yeah, 2017. Well done.
Yeah, told you. It seems like there's too many players dictating what's going on in that Cronulla team. Like
John Morris is only like 3 years older than some of them.
Yeah, so look, if maybe the Sharks board are thinking if they brought someone who's going to put their foot down on a team who commanded respect from every single one of them, maybe that'd be better for him. But if I don't know his record, but his record shouldn't be as bad as someone to lose his job. Like,
no, I think they're just looking at they've got one of the most stuck rosters in the league still, and they suck. That's pretty much what they're sitting on.
But in saying that too, they've got a really good roster, but bloody hell, they can't stay on the field. That's the problem.
Yeah, it comes down to club, training, injury management.
Yeah.
You have, I don't know.
Well, Moylan's a shot. Moylan's almost worse than Travojevic, would you say?
He's worth he's a $300,000 a year player for what you get out of him.
Yeah, but they're paying like $900.
That's what I mean. He's not worth it. Other coach news, Fittler signs on till the end of 2021 for the New South Wales Blues job. Pretty easy decision both ways there. Jamie Feeney has been announced as the head coach of the Roosters NRLW side. He's been assistant coach of the Gillaroos since 2016 and is the NRL female pathway manager since 2018. And he's got assistants in John Strange and Kylie Hilda, who's the Roosters Nines coach. And John Strange is a past NRLW grand final winner coach. So big signing there for the Roosters, and he was already in the Roosters system. So no big surprise, but someone who's doing a hell of a lot of good for the game. And it's a name, when I saw that, I was like, oh, I remember him.
Yeah, old headgear boy.
Oh, yeah, old headgear boy. And when you see the picture, you can see why. So well done to Jamie for that position. We've got the last kind of little bit here is now that clubs have got permission to play at their home ground starting round 8, there's still one club who's unsure about that, which is obviously the Storm, having been moved up here, playing out of Jubilee this weekend. There's talks that they're going to try to use Sunshine Coast as a base, which is where their feeder club's from if they can't get back to Victoria. In saying that, Queensland government hasn't lifted any special restrictions. They'd still have to go through a 14-day quarantine coming from Melbourne. So that's interesting. Otherwise, they're looking at Newcastle, Gosford, or what was the third town that they're looking at basing out of if they can't get back to Melbourne soon. Wollongong. Jesus, Jared. The other team still unsure are the Bulldogs and the Rabbitohs, whether they're going to go back to ANZ or whether they're going to continue playing out of Bankwest. that's the decision that they'll be coming up to make. West Tigers have successfully moved their home game in round 8 from Campbelltown to Bankwest, which will allow an extra 2,500 supporters to come in. So that'll get them up to, Bankwest can hold 7,500 supporters based on the 10% rule. No, 10% rule?
No, they wouldn't have 75,000.
No, they wouldn't.
No.
Oh, it's 8. Yeah, it's 10,000 for ANZ. So yeah, no. They said 7,500 they can fit at Bankwest, so that's what it'll be. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do that more often. Bulldogs and Rabbits, if they go back to ANZ, they can have up to 10,000. So that's like a normal home game for both of those teams. That wasn't meant to be a joke. That was like legit. But all other teams are looking at moving back to their home grounds. So that'll be good to see, even if there's minimal fans, but familiar surroundings.
Yeah. I can't wait to see the first Newcastle game because they're winning with the Newcastle fans there. It'll just make the atmosphere amazing. Well, that goes... Yeah, look, they've got Cowboys this weekend and they've got Manly next weekend. We should. Yeah.
All right. Now let's move into some signings, some judiciary, and some injuries, and then we're going on to round 7 already, which is awesome. Preview. So the Warriors and Roosters have extended the loanee signing Puasa Farmasili in to continue to play for the Warriors until, quote, the Roosters need him back. So that's good news for both parties there. Rovalawa has extended his stay at St George for a further 3 years. But the big news, I guess, of the week is the NRL retirement of James Graham, who's been granted a release and will be heading back home to St Helens to round out his career for the 2020 season with a chance to win a premiership for his home club. He's been here for 8 years. He's played 186 NRL games. He literally has changed the way props play the game, or some props play the game, especially around his years at the Bulldogs. My favourite memories is when he's been yelling at the referee. He had to hold his hands behind his back. That was like a schoolyard. I didn't do it.
I'm going to miss him just because his reputation was someone who always gave it a crack. I really hoped he was going to get a better send off than this. Then
he won't mind.
Go to England. Well, I like your idea that if there's a chance of it happening, that he flies back to Australia so he can walk around at the grand final day. Because unless Cameron Smith retires, he's probably going to need the most respected player to retire this year, and he deserves to walk around the grand final day because the only other more capped player who's going to retire this year, as far as I can tell, is bloody Darius Boyd. So he gets to walk around the grand final day. So
I mean, nice for James Graham to walk around a grand final smiling and waving.
Yeah, he deserves it. That's all I got to say. He deserves a lot more than get on a plane and see you later. Gone. I honestly think he does. Like you said, he changed the way the game was played.
But also in James Graham fashion, he got to walk out on his own bat, and it was his own choice. He wasn't forced out. He wasn't pushed out. He wasn't injured. Yeah. He's like, this is time for me to go. The timing is as right as it can be, I guess, with everything going on. So, congratulations, James. We've got another kind of we've got another Pommy on his way, that Thompson fella for Canterbury. Interesting to see what he brings out because the English forwards have been pretty damn good, the ones that have been here lately, with Bateman going back to Gareth Ellis, the Burgess boys. So the guys will live up to.
I really wish Gareth Ellis came 5 years earlier than he did. Because he was so dominant playing for Tigers, and he come out 5 years earlier. It might have been coming into his prime or at his prime. It would have been great to see. He came out when he was like 29 or 30, I'm pretty sure. I reckon.
Was it?
And
Yeah, it was late. I don't know if it was that late, but it was definitely late
yeah,
compared to, like coming out in your early 20s, but you're still not going to see much of that. Graham was a man of steel in the Super League at 22. Made his international debut at 19. He's been around for a long time. He's over 400 first-class games.
Yeah, he's coming up on Menzies.
Oh, yeah, he'll pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess the other thing is there's whispers, well, not even whispers, there's news around that Titans will be offering David Fifita a 5-year, $5 million contract to get him back down the road to Rabina. Now, Broncos can only offer him $700,000 a year, is the word. So it'd be a $1.5 million swing played by the Titans there, and that's how much money Fifita will be leaving on the table. And I guess the biggest bargaining chip Brisbane had, they don't have at the moment, is their ability to win. And a premiership window, which is looking less likely through this year.
Well, I still think they have a better chance of a premiership in the next 5 years than bloody Gold Coast.
Probably.
Like, really? When you think about it, like,
but also they're playing like crap.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. If he wants the money, he'll go to Gold Coast. But I think he has better chance of winning premiership if he stays at Broncos, or Roosters are supposed to be after him too. If he goes to Roosters, he'll win a premiership within 3 years.
Yeah, but he's not going to get anywhere near that sort of money.
No, but it depends what he wants.
Act. Yeah, it depends.
Look, I think if you take less money but go to a premiership winning team, it'll be better in the long run for your country, for your career. Especially at his age, he's only 20 or 22 or something. So if he signs
the money where you can get it at that age.
Well, I was just thinking, like, if he signs a 3-year contract with the Roosters for $700,000, the same amount as he's getting at Broncos or whatever they can offer him, he'll be 25 when that ends. If he stays at the same level or gets better like he's doing, his next contract will be way worth more than $1 million.
Yeah, but he also won't get a starting spot.
Oh, he'd get over Crichton. He benched Crichton for Orbison.
Orbison doesn't get in their team anymore.
Yeah, last year, I mean.
Yeah, but I don't know, like...
I'd play off the bench for the Roosters for $700,000 a year.
Yeah. I think what's going to happen is he's probably going to sign a 1-year extension at the Broncos, see if they can get their shit together as a club before he moves on, because there's nothing... Like, talent and potential are good, but unless you've got a stable club around you, there's going to be way less talented teams will beat Brisbane this year if the club and how it is at the moment continues to be like that.
That's right. Well, that's the running joke currently. There's going to be one Queensland team win this weekend, and that's only because North Queensland Broncos are playing Titans.
Yeah. And
I don't know who's going to win that game. I can't tell you.
The draw. 2-2. So getting into judiciary, Nathan Brown was unsuccessful in his challenge, so he's out for 2 weeks. So I've cut him from my fantasy team again. Victor Radley has paid a $700 fine. Christian Crichton has accepted a 1-match ban. Carrigan and Flegler from the Broncos have also had 1 week each suspensions. And Jordan Pereira is out for 2 weeks, and Wade Egan is out for 1 week. So all 1 and 2 week suspensions there. The following players: Jerome Luai, Harry Grant, Sam McIntyre, and Josh Aloe have all escaped suspensions due to filing early guilty pleas. So make sure you make those changes. Radley is in. He'll be playing. Nathan Brown, Christian Crichton, Carrigan and Flegler. Pereira and Wade Egan are all out. Now, injuries. And then we get into games. West Tigers. Zane Musgrove looking at 10 to 12 weeks with a listed foot fracture. That's 3 months. Yeah, Alex Twal, at least 4 weeks with a knee injury. And Robert Jennings, that's a big loss. And Robert Jennings, this sounds painful. out indefinitely with a high-grade hamstring tendon injury. So not so much the muscle itself, but the joining tendon. Now, Manly have kind of got good-ish and worse news. So Dylan Walker's looking like 6 weeks with an actual broken bone in his foot. Now, Tommy Trbojevic, it was 6 weeks. It's now looking more like 6 to 8 weeks with his hamstring injury. They still haven't found the cause of it. It's a third one in the same hamstring.
Because there'd be about 12 scars on that hamstring. Which one's wrong? Which one's the actual scar?
So, yeah, 6 weeks is hard enough. Another 2 on top of that. Oof. Upside for Manly, Martin Tapau, George Tafua are both going to get the best chances provided to get them back this week. Corey Pakes from the Broncos is out this week with a pec strain. Jonas Pearson's out for 4 months with a pec strain for the Titans. Kane Evans just got back from suspension. He's out at the moment again with a calf injury. Jordan McLean is going to get every chance to play for the Cowboys, whereas Valentine Holmes, while he's back running, is still out for at least another 2 weeks. Oh, and Alisi Katoa for the Warriors, 3 weeks with an ankle injury. I know
that's a big loss.
Yes, he's been on fire as a debutant, and I know he's a big super coach player this season, so that kind of sucks. Cool. I think that's all the off the field sort of stuff. Let's get cranking on to our 8-game slate for the NRL Round 7 2020 Premiership.
All right. So the first game on Thursday night, Penrith versus South Sydney.
Ooh,
this is going to be a really good game, actually. I'm actually kind of looking forward to this one because they're both coming into a bit of... Well, Penrith have been playing well all year, but they're both really starting to hit their stride. It'll be quite interesting. Okay, so Penrith, we've got Fisher Harris and Tamo up front with Corus out hooker. Looks like Capewell's still out for a period of time.
Yeah, he's out for
8 to 10 weeks.
A couple of weeks, so yeah, he's gone.
Yeah. You got Liam Martin and Viliami Kickout and Isaiah Yeo in the back row. And then you got their back line, which is Cleary, Luai, their super debutant Stephen Crichton, Dean Farre, Josh Mansour, and Brian To'o on the wings, with Dylan Edwards starting with the number 1 on his back. And then you got Matt Burden, Ted Ivano, Moses Leota, and Billy Burns, Adam's favourite name for a player. Billy Burns.
Oh, that's
and then you got Brett.
I got nothing against that.
Oh no, that was someone else. All right.
Yeah, I was just like, that's a pretty random statement. I don't think I've ever gone back.
And then you got Brent Naden and Tyrone May. So it's funny. So they're 19 to 21. That's a centre and a utility. So if
Brent Naden's been there for the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Yeah. So, but if any Fords go down between now and tomorrow night, that's going to be a quite interesting.
Oh, that's got Isaiah Yeo, Martin Kickout. They can all play.
They should be fine. But Stephen Crichton could probably go at second row as well. He's big enough. And then South Sydney, you got Burgess, Cook, and Totola in the front row with Ethan Lowe, Jaden Sewer, and Cam Murray in the back row. And then you got Adam Reynolds, Cody Walker, not Dylan Walker, Braden Burns, Campbell Graham, Dane Gagai, and Alex Johnson with Latrell Mitchell at fullback. Then you got Liam Knight, Bailey Sirenen, and then you got the big one there. James Roberts is number 17 with Hami Selly rounding out the squad. You got Darren Nichols and Troy Dargan. So I don't know how this is going to go. I wouldn't be surprised if Darren Nichols comes into the 17, Braden Burns drops off, and James Roberts goes straight into centre.
You say Mark Nichols?
Yeah, Mark Nichols.
Yeah, cool.
So that's how I see that going.
For Tomo Mone's injury. Yeah, it could be that. Bennett also said, I think it was today or yesterday, that Braden Burns and Campbell Graham have both been playing really well, and that Roberts is going to have to earn his way back into the team.
That's not a usual Bennett thing, eh? He usually throws his stars right back in.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't... Even if they just do a straight switch and have Burns on the bench as cover in case he goes down first game back, and they
Look, I really, because they've got Ethan Lowe to cover anywhere in the back line for him to go. I wouldn't be surprised if they use him as a utility and just dropped Braden Burns altogether.
Yeah,
to be honest. Yeah.
Cool.
But you can never guess what Bennett's going to do.
All right, who are we going in this, eh?
I'm going Penrith. I think they're in form. I think their defence is going to win it for him, but it's going to be close, especially if Latrell Mitchell starts playing like he's been playing the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, this is tough. Like, I've gone against Penrith the last 2 matches, and they've beaten the Storm, and they've beaten another big player. Who was it?
I can't remember.
Parramatta. No, sorry, they lost to Parramatta.
Yeah,
and then they beat Storm.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to go on this week, which means they're going to lose. Sorry, Penrith fans. We're both going 2 up on Penrith. In saying that, it's nothing against the Rabbitohs because they've been playing really well. I'm not going to be surprised if either team wins this. I would be surprised if it's a blowout either way, because I think they've both been playing well enough to prevent that from happening. You're still looking at just those squads. South have got the star power, I think, they do in the back line. Whereas in the forward pack, I think your Fisher-Harris kick-out combo.
I think
just ahead. I honestly reckon the hookers cancel each other out.
Well, Coruscant versus Cook. I reckon Coruscant's a slightly bit ahead this year.
Oh yeah, this year he's definitely ahead.
I hate saying it. If kick out can be stopped, they'll really blunt Penrith's attack. But a lot of teams have tried this year and they've failed miserably. So I feel like he's going to be up against Ethan Lowe.
Yeah,
in the second row. So that'll be interesting because Ethan Lowe's a kind of a grinder in there. He tackles hard all day, but he's due for a miss every so often. So it'll be interesting how he handles kick out because it's going to be a really it could be a one-sided battle for kick out to run over the top of
one of Penrith's most impressive things this year's also been their interchange, and it's definitely been outplaying South's interchange. Tedesco and Leota have been awesome when they've come on. And could you get a weirder mismatch of locks? Isaiah Yeo versus Cam Murray could not get more different style of player. So I think we both got Penrith there. So that one's at 7:50 Thursday night. Alrighty. First of our matches on Friday night. So this is always a cracker of a game, regardless of how these teams are playing. Storm versus Warriors at Jubilee Stadium, Sydney, not down at Amy Park. So this is a 6 o'clock game. So Storm, big in for them at halfback with Jerome Hughes, and we'll get to that. So they line up from back to front. Ryan Pappenhausen at fullback. Vunivalu and Addo Carr comes back in at wing.
Addo Carr's a big in for them.
Yeah. Justin Olam and Branko Lee in the centres. And then Cam Munster and, like I said, Jerome Hughes back at halfback from his broken hand. Jesse Bromwich, Christian Welch at prop with Cameron Smith at hooker. Felice Kafusi, Kenny Bromwich, Dale Finucane, back row and lock. Brandon Smith, Tino Fasumele, oh my God. Tom Eisenhuth and Nelson Asafa Solomona on the interchange. Reserves, Riley Jacks, Nico Hines, Max King, and Paul Momorowski again. Warriors, probably the best looking backline I guess they've put together this year, I would say. Tuivasa-Sheck at fullback with David Fusatua and Ken Mamalo on the wings. That's the first wing combos are back together. Peter Hiku and Patrick Herbert in the centres with Cody Nikorima and Blake Green. I think that's their best backline they can put together.
Yep.
Forwards, Jermaine Tanua-Brown and Lachlan Burr at prop, with Carl Lawton at hooker to cover the suspended Wade Egan. Jack Murchie, Tohu Harris in the second row with Adam Blair at lock. Interchange, Chanel Harris Tavita, Hawassa Farmasuli, Ignatius Parsi and Isaiah Papalihi. You've got Jared Beale, Adam Pompey, Josh Curran and Lavaha Pulu. So King Vuniyayawa is an out. Yep, that would be right. And that's Parsi coming back in from his concussion symptoms. I would say, just checking that. Yeah. Well, this will be a cracker. The strongest back line, Warriors can put together versus, I guess, the strongest back line Storm can put together. You could make an argument for Marion Sevi in the centres instead of Brenko Lee, I guess, but
Brenko Lee hasn't put a foot wrong since he came back in that squad.
So
for me, sure. I was actually leaning towards picking New Zealand for this, but a few of the Warriors players have actually come out. Some of the senior players have actually come out and stated that they wouldn't be surprised if a few of their players couldn't get their head right to play for this game, so they have to sit out because of the whole Stephen Kearney thing.
Wow.
So usually when a team gets, like, a coach gets fired, I usually bet on that team to win because it's kind of like they're kicking the ass. But now, and like I said, Blake Green came out and said this, that a few players won't have their head right to play. I'm kind of leaning towards Melbourne putting a score on them, to be honest, just because I think they're in a bit of a shambles right now to play. So, I'm going Storm by 13 plus in this game.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It's nice to see on the Warriors Jack Murchie getting a start. Young fella coming down from Canberra. That's coming in for Alicia Katoa. Out with suspension. So it'll be interesting to see what Murchie can do. Does a good job. He might have a 3-week stint there. I'm having a look. Storm have just been not Stormlight, plus the fact that they've had to shift up to New South Wales at last moment, find a temporary home, playing out of a non-home stadium. And then you've got, the coaching thing with the Warriors. Holy jeez.
Okay, so I just want to say one thing. So you're saying Storm aren't the Storm. They've still got a 4-2 record.
Yeah, I know, but
we're saying, say the South. Not South. Manly are doing pretty well this year. Exact same record. Manly are only 1 point behind in points differential. So, look, people say Storm aren't the Storm, but in saying that too, there's a pretty high standard they've set. And when Storm don't play as well as people think they should, they're kind of like, oh, they're not the Storm. But when you think about it, so it's pretty good record.
Even when they win their tight games, they can do it Storm-like, or they can do it how they've been doing it this year. They haven't been controlling the games like they usually do.
I'm not saying they're.
And Manly haven't been playing.
Yeah, I'm not saying they're the same level as they have been. Like, Jesus. But
they've got more gears to find than any other team in the comp, I would say.
Yeah, and that's scary because they're 4-2. Yeah. So, as I said last podcast, they're probably the one team in this competition that struggle with this new rule as much as anyone, I reckon.
Well, they better start working it out. I'm going to go with you, Storms. I don't know if it's going to be a blowout. I wouldn't be surprised if it is, but I'm not feeling like it would be. Now, this will be this is always a cracker of a game, regardless of how the teams are going. Again, so 2 of them on a Friday night. You want to take this?
Okay.
These are our 2 ANZAC matches that we'd usually have.
Yeah. Okay. So Sydney Roosters versus St George. I'm struggling tonight. Sydney Roosters are coming in with Tedesco at fullback. There's still a little question mark over him to
He
pass.
starts to pass concussion protocols, yeah.
If that happens, Morris will just come into fullback.
And Ryan Hall will come in on the wing.
Yeah. So, look, you still get Morris at fullback. I know, but a lot of teams would love to say, I've got Morris at fullback.
Yes.
And you got Morris and Tupou on the wings with Morris and Manu in the centres. Your halves are Keary and Flanagan, probably the most informed halves of the competition currently. And then you got Radley, Crichton, and Cordner in the back row with Takiaho, Friend, and Maria Hargraves up front. And you got Sam Verrills, Isaac Liu, Nat Butcher, and Lindsay Collins ran at 17 with Tupanua, Mitch Orbiston, Ryan Hall, and Lachlan Lamb with the 21. At St. George, you got Paul Vaughan, McInnes, and Laurie up front with Tyrell Fuimaono, Tyson Brazell, and Trent Merrin at lock. Then you got Adam Clune at halfback with Corey Norman at 6. And you got Zach Lomax, Ewan Aiken, Ravalawa, and Jason Saab gets a run at on the wing.
Yes.
And then you got Matt Duffy at fullback. For the bench, you got my highest paid players sitting at number 14, Ben Hunt. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Sometimes the best positions on the bench. And then you got Josh Kerr, Jacob Host, and Jackson Ford. And then you got, is that Corbin Sims or Tarrant?
Yeah.
That's Corbin.
Sims.
Corbin at 18 with Tristan Saylor, Tim Laffey, and Billy Britton.
I don't know. I'd love to see Jason Saab up against Daniel Tupou, but it's not going to happen. But man, that'd be a tall, awesome aerial battle to watch.
And then you can just throw Edric Lee in there when they come up against like all three of them.
Who are you going?
Oh, I know. I feel like I'm going to have to go Roosters. Dragons, even though they're on a 2-0 run, 2 in a row, I doubt any team can beat the Roosters how they're playing right now. So I'm going Roosters.
So looking at the game before this, Melbourne and Warriors, and then Roosters and St. George, who's the bigger favourite, Melbourne or Roosters?
Roosters.
Yeah. They're at $1.10 and St. George is at $7 and Melbourne's
I saw that.
$13 and Warriors are $6.
Melbourne are what?
Melbourne are $1.13, so it's a 3-cent difference, and Warriors are $6. But you've got Dragons at $7.
Yeah. Ooh. That's it. Look, it's not that surprising.
Jeez, the line's 17.5. Holy shit.
It's not that surprising. Like, you look at their records recently. I know, like I said, St. George have won 2 in a row, but they're coming up against easily the form team, the competition, and they're back-to-back premiers. Like, come on. They're going to be hard to beat for the rest of the year.
I'm just looking through trying to find some value in this game. There isn't much.
Yeah, I've got a value. I've got a value bet
put on a pretty big multi there. So yeah, no changes for the Roosters. Tedesco has to pass protocols to be in. Look, Jason Saab in for Pereira being. I think Josh Kerr could feel a bit hard done by losing out his starting proposition. I think he's been pretty good. But I don't know. It is already weird not seeing James Graham in there. But I think both of us, have got Roosters in that one. And for those overseas listeners, these two games, Storm versus Warriors and Roosters versus Dragons, are usually the two games that are played on ANZAC Day in Australia. They're both very, what's the word? Not monumental.
Respectful.
Important games. No, that's the word I'm trying to think of. Iconic games, I guess. It's still not the right word, but anyway.
It'll come to you about 2
a.m. a lot to the players, Sentimental. For the players to play in a very special game. So they usually get up for that. It'll be different because they won't have the same sort of atmosphere. But that's what those two games represent. All right, our first game on Saturday, 3 p.m. game. Do you want to do this one? You can do two.
Yeah. Okay, so up front, it's Cowboys versus Newcastle.
Up in
front,
Townsville?
Yep. Up front, you got Molo, Reece Robson, and Josh McGuire for Cowboys. And then in the second row, you've got Cohen Hess and Mitch Dunn with Jason Tamalolo at lock. And then you got Jake Clifford, Scott Drinkwater in the halves with SN Masters and Justin O'Neill in the centres. On the wings, you got Lemilu. Lemilu. Kyle Felt on the wings with Tabel Fido. That'd be a good battle between him and Ponga. And then on the bench, you got Super Utility, which I think is his best spot, Ben Hampton. Then you got Gavin Cooper, Peter Holler, and Ruben Cotter on the bench. And then rounding out the 21, you've got Tom Opachik, Shane Wright, Jordan McLean, which I wouldn't be surprised if he came in, and Jake Granville. For Newcastle, you got Daniel Safidi, McCulloch, and Clemmer up front. Matautia and Fitzgibbon with they've made a change. Glasby on the bench.
SASA dropped back.
Yeah, so I kind of want to spend some time on that one too. So Mitchell Pearce, Kurt Mann, and then you got the big news coming out of Newcastle. We haven't touched on it yet.
Yeah.
So Bradman Best, I think. What's the full story? So he went and visited his mother.
Yep.
At her house.
So that was the issue.
And he thought he was doing the right thing, but he had to get permission to the NRL, from the NRL to do it. Look, he broke the rules. He done the wrong thing. He's in isolation for 7 days. He can't play. Bottom line. So
the NRL lifted restrictions saying you could go out to cafes. You could go and there was extra freedoms. So if he'd gone and met mum at a cafe and they've had breakfast together, that'd be fine. But if you're going to someone else's actual household, you have to seek permission from the NRL biosecurity officer, and that's the step that he missed. It would have been okay if mum had come to his house, but he's in isolation for 7 days. And
so he reported himself.
Yeah.
And I think he did cop a fine. So
I see that.
I thought I did see something. I think he should cop a fine. He did break the rules. It is what it is. He supposedly got back to his house, rang up the Newcastle quarantine, whatever you want to call it, person, and goes, I did this, what happens? Told him he has to isolate 7 days, rang up Adam O'Brien. So he self-reported. But yes, bottom line, he did the wrong thing. He's not, in this game, he isn't suspended by the NRL. He just has to isolate for 7 days in his house. Yep. It is what it is. So, for that reason, they got Shibazaki and Inari Tuala playing against his old team in the centres. And then you got Hunt, Lee, and Ponga to back three. Yep. So on the bench, you got Tex Hoy, Jacob Safidi, Herman SASA, and Guerra. So as far as SASA goes, so Newcastle obviously maybe looking for someone's a bit more spark coming off the bench. I don't know. That seems to be what they're going, because when you put Glasby on their bench, they got no real impact or offloading people coming off their bench. Oh. But in saying that too, there has been a lot of rumours that SASA is going to Gold Coast next year.
Yeah, that's the other one I was. And looking at as a loanee to St George to replace Clemmer.
Yeah,
his name's been thrown. Graham. He's been given permission to look elsewhere by the Knights, which
has he actually? Because they blocked Adam O'Brien blocked it last year, and he's been playing really well for Newcastle. Yeah, I've been really surprised by all this stuff. I know Frizzell's coming next year, but Jesus Christ, I think he's only 25. He's only going to get better. But we'll see what happens with it. Can't really contemplate it too much. I don't want to lose him. But then you got Brodie Jones, Tautau Moga, Phoenix Crossland, and Pasami Saulo. Look, I'm a bit worried about this game, to be honest with you. Cowboys have been put through the ringer a bit this week. Even their most experienced player currently, Josh Maguire, said they've been playing weak as piss. That's a direct quote from Josh Maguire. So, look, a lot of teams who cop that much criticism genuinely come out and either really play really badly or really stick it to whoever they're playing. They're playing at North Queensland. The scene's set up for Cowboys to pull this one out. You know, their back's against the wall. They've copped a bit of criticism. So I'm a bit worried. I'm still picking Newcastle, obviously, but I wouldn't be surprised if Cowboys pulled one out here, to be honest. And, you know, you look on form, Newcastle should win. That's even more telling that Cowboys could, you know, pull one out. So it'd be interesting.
Yeah, I'm going to look at the second half of the game last week. The Cowboys were down 34-0 at halftime, won the second half. 20 to 2? 20 to 2? Yeah, something like 36-20. That plus Paul Green's spray, plus Josh Maguire, plus Bradman Best. Even if he hasn't scored tries, he's provided a lot of go forward and a lot of stability out wide for a young player. So I'm actually going the Cowboys in this one.
Yeah.
I think if they're going to turn around, this game's as good as any. And this is also my value bet of the week. Remember when we put our bets down, we try to find some value rather than just, we'll pick this team at $2 compared to $1.80. So if you go with a multi-bet in North Queensland to win at $3, and then I've got to score a try at any time, Cole Felt and Kalen Ponga. So that comes out a $9 bet. So if you're thinking Cowboys could sneak a win and you've got probably your two most likely try scorers on each team scoring a try each, that's a $9 bet, and I'm pretty happy to take that one on. So that's my value bet of the week. Cool. Moving on to the next game.
Yep.
The big one here is Jordan McLean is in the reserves, but even Paul Green doesn't expect him to come in till at least next week, but he's there. He's going to get given every chance. Queensland Derby. I get the good one. So Broncos versus Titans, Saturday, 5:30 at Suncorp Stadium. So Broncos have named another one of their youngsters in Tessie Niu to have a starting position.
Oh, my God.
In place of Jermaine Asako. Corey Oates and Xavier Coates on the wings. Herbie Farnworth and Darius Boyd in the centres. Anthony Milford, Brody Croft in the halves. Yeah, something you wanted to say, Joe?
Jermaine Asako is not the fucking problem with Broncos. Why did he get dropped?
It's not a fullback, but yes, I agree with your first point.
I can name two players you should have dropped before him. Oh, my God.
Corey Oates and Darius Boyd.
No. Well, I agree with Boyd.
Oates hasn't done anything either.
The fat little
hobbit. First try in 12 games last week.
The fat little hobbit with number 6 on his back. And Corey Oates did not score a try last week.
Oh, the try was against Manly. He scored a try.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah,
keep going.
Forwards, Matt Lodge and Payne Hunt.
It makes me mad.
With Isaac Luke at starting hooker. Alex Glenn, Tavita Pangai in the back row with Joe Fungawi at lock. Jermaine Asako, utility on the bench with Jamil Hopewadi, Reece Kendi and Ben Teo. Reserves Tom Durden, Ethan Bullimore, Tyson Gamble and Richard Kenner. There's still chat that Tom Durden might sneak his way into the interchange.
He's already been named. He's already been put there. He will be playing.
So who have they taken off the interchange?
I'm not sure, but it's come out today that Tom Dearden will be playing in the weekend on the bench.
So it'll have to be Asako because you're not going to have a utility back and a half back on the interchange.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised.
Jeez.
Yeah.
All right, Titans. Corey Thompson has been named at fullback despite that head knock last week. Anthony Don and Philip Sammy on the wings. Philip Sammy was named as an injury earlier in the week, so that's interesting. Brian Kelly, Dale Copley in the centres. Ash Taylor, Jamal Fogarty as halves. Fodawaker and Sam Lasone starting prop. Mitch Rain comes straight back into the team at starting hooker with Aaron Clark dropping all the way down to reserves. Kevin Proctor, Keegan Hitgrave, and Jai Arrow. That's probably my favourite back row that the Titans have put out this year. I like the look of that one. Tanner Boyd on the bench with Tyrone Peachy, Jermaine Jolliffe, and Jared Wallace gets a run. Hasn't played in 3 weeks. In on the interchange. So players dropped have been Bryce Cartwright and Aaron Clark down to reserves, with Beau Fairmore and Tyrone Roberts again named in the reserves. Man, a fair few changes here. So Tessie Newey playing his second game at first as a starter. Joe Offengawi back in to starting with Hopawadi back onto the bench. Let's cover Corey Pakes, who has the strained pec. Young Tournament P is a big out for the Titans with that knee injury. Could be out a couple of months, supposedly. Oh, and Justin Holbrook has said Tyrone Roberts is right to go. So even though he's on the reserves, it'll be interesting to see if he does come in.
Yeah, so I've actually got this one as my value bet this week.
Oh, yeah?
So for one, Gold Coast are going $2.95 to win.
And they've beaten the Broncos the last 2 games at Suncorp.
Yeah, and Broncos aren't exactly in form right now. But on top of that, I've got Xavier Coates, anytime try scorer, $1.72. And Corey Thompson, anytime try scorer at $3.30. That comes to $15.25. So they're two. They can both sneak out a try. So a sneaky $10 on that on $15.25. For Gold Coast to win, Xavier Coates and Corey Thompson to score anytime. I reckon that's not
the fact that both our value bets are a win with 2 anytime try scorers, and we didn't even talk about them before the show. That's awesome.
Yeah, but like honestly, Xavier Coates scoring a try, highly possible. He's an athlete that way. And then Corey Thompson.
Oh, Coates versus Don in the air. That'll be fun.
But yeah, so I
Don's actually pretty good under the high ball. That's why I said it.
Yeah, so I reckon that's not a bad bet, especially with Thompson coming to Gold Coast. He will. I wouldn't say he wouldn't score a try every second game, the way he goes, and especially against Broncos defense, you might slip one through. So yeah, I'm going now. With the Broncos, they honestly. So the reason Anthony Milford didn't get dropped for Thomas Dearden, and this is also a direct quote, Thomas Dearden has not played for 10 months.
And he's come back from injury.
So that is the reason why Thomas Dearden wasn't playing, which it would be good defense in any situation, but for what I've seen, Anthony Milford at close to has not played in 10 months either. So I don't honestly. The only way Seabold's going to get any respect from anyone is, well, look.
By beating the Titans in Golden Point.
So we've always said that Justin Holbrook and Michael Maguire have the balls to drop people if he believes they haven't been playing up to standard. Anthony Seabold needs to take a leaf out of one of their books.
Because Jared should have said that. Put money down for Milford to be man of the match.
Yeah, should put him in my anytime try scorers. But yeah, so look, when you're losing like that, you need to try something.
Who would have thought that this would be a flip of the coin game?
Oh, look, with Broncos' attack and attitude against Newcastle last week, I just think that Gold Coast attitude just get them over the line, because Gold Coast attitude has been good. And I think Jai Arrow might teach a few Broncos forwards what it's like to play to a high standard week in, week out. So
I'm just going along this, just looking at man on man the whole way down, and there's like flips of coins everywhere, and there's a couple that stand out on either side. I don't know.
Yeah, honestly, I just think sheer attitude. Because on paper, if you saw the two teams, I reckon Broncos are ahead just because of their forward pack.
So I've been looking at the forward pack, like Fodawaker over Lodge, Rain over Luke, Hass over Lasone. Pangai over Hipgrave, Arrow over Offengowie. So that's 3 to Titans, 2 to Broncos, and then whoever you want over Glenn and Proctor.
I pick Proctor over Glenn right now.
Well, then it'd be 4-2 to Titans in my book.
No, yeah.
With Haas and Pangai getting the nod over Lasone and Hipgrave.
Yeah. But I don't know. I just...
Yeah, I'll be with you. I think I might be going Titans on this one.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards Gold Coast just because of the... But
not saying that Broncos can't win. They've got enough game breakers in there. It's just they need everyone pulling in the same direction.
Which they don't seem to be having. But, yeah, we'll see. Next game.
Jeez, I didn't even say that. This should be fun, this one.
Okay, Parramatta, Canberra.
Jeez, Parramatta's been put through a ringer, eh? Manly, North, Roosters, Canberra.
Yeah. Okay, so Parramatta front row is Paulo, Marnie, and Campbell Gillard. Then you got Madison, Sean Lane, and Nathan Brown's been named, but I doubt he's going to play. They'll probably bring in...
He's been suspended.
Yeah, so Nakore is probably going to come on with, I'm guessing, Gower?
Gower or Alvaro, but you'd say...
Jesus, that's weak. And then you got Moses a halfback with Dylan Brown, and then you got Wonga Blake, Michael Jennings with Sivo Ferguson and Gustafson making up the back three. And then you got Ray Stone, Nakore, Oregon Kafusi, and Takarangi gets his spot back in the 17 with Gower, Alvaro, Jennings, and...
Oh, that's with Terapo out.
Jai Field. I wouldn't be surprised if they brought in Jai Field anytime soon. Canberra, you got Soliola up front with Hodson and Papali. Then you got Whitehead, Tuppeny, and Horsburgh rounding out the back row. And you got George Williams, Jack Whiten, Curtis Scott, not Lachlan Croker, Jared Croker, Rapana, Kotrick, and Nickel Clockstad rounding out the team. Then you got Havili, Emre Gula, Ryan Sutton, and Hudson Young with Simonson, who finally just gets dropped out of 17 altogether, unfortunately. That's another player you could bring.
He was off last week.
But that's another player you can buy. He's a solid winger. He's not going to get a starting spot with a problem.
How many more cracks do you reckon Curtis Scott's going to have? Before you put Kotrick in the centres and put Simonson on the wing.
Yeah, I don't know. He's not playing well, is he?
No.
He hasn't played well since that Melbourne game. And he was a bit of a dick that game too. And he got beaten by Bester next week. He got beaten by, was it Crichton the week after that? And then he got beaten by, he got beaten pretty bad last week too.
Cyrinan.
Yeah. Literally beaten. And then you got Dunamis Louis, Matt Foley, and Tom Starling.
I would. I'd bring Simonson in on the wing, move Kotrick into the centre, and drop Curtis Scott the way that they've been going. And it's their attack that they've been struggling with. Their defence has been fine.
Yeah. So, look, for this game, I think it all comes down to how Parramatta react to a loss. Like, they put a lot of effort into that game. And as I said, they were the better team for like 60 minutes of that game against
and didn't react well to losses last year.
So, yeah, it'd be interesting. I'm still going to go Para to beat Canberra. They're two of probably my most hated teams in the competition.
Really?
But I fucking can't stand both of them. You know why? I've explained it a million times. Actually, no, I can't explain you why I hate Canberra. I don't know
that one.
Yeah, I hate Para, though. We all know why.
For our listeners in the ACT, that's a purely Jared opinion. I have nothing against Canberra.
I can't stand them. I don't know why. Which is funny because I love Whitehead. I love Stewart's emotion. I think he's a bit of a sook sometimes, but I love his emotion.
I don't know to explain why I don't like Parramatta. It's Manly and Parramatta. That's enough said.
Oh, my brother supports Parramatta. I'm not allowed to like him. But yeah, so I'm going to go Para, but I wouldn't be surprised if Canberra, one, pulled their finger out, but two, also shocked Parramatta, and I wouldn't be surprised if Parramatta have a bit of a hangover coming from this team, coming from the Roosters game.
Like we've said, I wouldn't be surprised if the other team wins a few times this round because there's a fair few evenly matched.
Yeah. But
not evenly matched, but circumstantially matched games.
I know not many people are talking about it, but I reckon this is Parramatta's biggest test. So look, they came up against Penrith, which is wait a minute. They came up against Penrith, which is a massive game. They pulled it out in the last 10 minutes. Came up against Roosters when it was literally the battle of the heavyweights, the 2020 competition. Now they had two big games. They're coming up against a team who aren't exactly in form, but everyone's expecting them to pull it out any week now. Like they're expecting them to come back to their old standard from last year. As you said earlier, Parramatta don't react well to losses. They're famous for it, even last year. So I just think that they've put in so much effort in the last two games that they might come in a bit underdone this game.
That's a good point. It'd be interesting to see what Brad Arthur did with training this week.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like this is Brad Arthur's year. This is his biggest chance to win a grand final. And if Parramatta don't react well to this loss, they might spiral out of control. Which, when you think about it, they haven't changed that much. Like, who have they signed from last year?
Madison, big signing.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that. But that's like
Regan Campbell-Gill. Oh no, he was a bench
though. He was last year. So they signed Madison, which is a big deal. But they've kind of reacted bad to losses. And I know Dylan Brown was injured for most of last year too. But they don't react well to losses. And I just think that Canberra... You know what? I'm changing my bet. I'm going to reckon Canberra are going to win this game.
Wow, you've really talked your way into it.
Yeah, I have. I was going
to look at Parramatta's record for last year and see if that's actually a thing with regards to the losses. Let's have a look.
Yeah,
Not yet. Oh, yeah, it was that one there. Okay.
Yeah, I just like I think they have that reputation of big games. Because look at last year, they smacked Broncos in that grand final, right? And then what happened the week after?
Final, yeah.
What happened the week after?
I don't know. Like, I'm looking at last year wasn't too bad. It was completely up and down all year. It was complete inconsistency.
Yeah, well, that's my point.
Their only losing streak last year was 3 games where they got smoked by the Storm 64-10 in round 9. And then they lost 17-10, then 16-10. And then it was win, loss, win, 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 loss, win, 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 loss, loss, win, win, loss. So it was just like all over the place. So I don't know. I'm sticking with Parramatta. I haven't seen Canberra to be able to pick them.
I think my biggest example was they beat Broncos 58-0 last year in the qualifying finals. And in the semis, they came up against Melbourne and got beaten 32-0.
Yeah.
I think for big games with Parramatta, they kind of... I think after that game, I thought they won. The way they were acting, I thought that they were acting like they won the grand final after they beat Broncos.
One? Oh, yeah.
They beat Broncos.
That was last year. I don't know. I reckon... No, I just haven't seen enough from Canberra to...
Yeah, but we've been expecting Canberra to pull their ass out for the last 3 weeks, probably since they beat Melbourne. They've done the same thing. I reckon they beat Melbourne, and then they've gone further and further downhill.
It's also on this year, Parramatta's had to dig into their depth because you've got Brown, Evans, and Terapo all out.
Yeah.
So you've got Takarine, Gower, or Alvaro. Coming in. I'm going to stick with it.
Yeah, I just think that they're going to be Canberra a month ago, and they're going to start sliding. That's my bet.
All right.
Yeah.
We've had 2 games that we've mixed up on. I like that. Now, this one,
The
Yeah,
battle of the hospital ward.
Manly's win against Canberra last week was freaking awesome to watch. When you're a team that's that decimated with injury, you don't do this. You don't generally do that week in and week out. So that's what Manly's going to be trying to do. I was a touch disappointed not to see Albert Hopper-Wade anywhere, but Hasler's probably managing his return. They don't have New South Wales Cup to play through, so. Anyway, Brendan Elliott gets crack at fullbacks. He did a pretty damn good job last year in the time that Tom Trbojevic missed. George Tafua has been named to come back from his quad injury. Ruben Garrick on the other wing. Brad Parker and Tavita Funa named in the centres. So that was a bit of a... I don't know if it was a surprise or not, actually. Lachlan Croker is going to be 5'8" with DCE, Daly Cherry Evans at half.
Yes!
I know. Fanua Blake and Martin Tapau also has been named in the forwards. In props, Danny Levi at hooker, Joel Thompson, Curtis Sirinen, and Jake Toroyevich locks and back row. So Manly's full-strength forward pack is starting. Interchange, Cade Cust. There's my boy. Jack Kozłowski, so hopefully he's got new hair. Sean Kepi and Taniela Paseka on the interchange with Morgan Boyle, Abbas Miski, Hamale Olakatu, and Tafoa Sipley. So Manly have 3 forwards and a winger in their reserves. I guess Abbas Miski's there to cover Tafua.
I honestly,
yeah, it's obviously a Walker and Trbojevic.
Yeah, I'm surprised Morgan Boyle didn't get a crack. Because I reckon he played really well last week. But saying that, so I'm glad Sean Kepi kept his spot because he deserved that.
And out of all them, Tafoa Sipley was the more mainstay for Manly last year, but he's coming back from a...
Yeah, I just think that last week, Morgan Boyle, he had to play, I think, 60 minutes, I think. Sean Kepi would have had to play more. So I'm like, Hasler knows better than me. I can't deny what he's done.
Yeah. But
I thought Morgan Boyle deserved I think he's a bit hard done by considering what he put out last week.
And you look at this back line for Sharks and you're like, how are these guys not on fire? And it's probably this week's going to start. Anyway, Matt Moylan at fullback with Sione Katoa and Bryson Goodwin on the wings. Sione Katoa is just on fire lately. Josh Dugan and Jesse Ramian in the centres, with Sean Johnson and Chad Townsend in the halves. Andrew Fafita and Aaron Woods are props, with Blake Brayley at hooker, Brighton Okora, Wade Graham and Jack Williams, second row and lock. That's like their full-strength team, eh?
Yeah.
All right, Toby off on the bench with Hammond Uele, Sia Sifa, Talakai and Royce Hunt, and Scott Sorensen, Connor Tracy, Will Kennedy and Jackson Ferris in the reserves. I'm just hoping because Sean Johnson had such a good game last week, this will be his law of averages and revert back to normal.
Tell you what, Josh Dugan played well last week.
He's played well all season.
Yeah, surprisingly, considering how much flack he cops on this podcast. But
I haven't given him much. I've said each week he's playing well.
I'm saying
that he gets injured a lot.
Started
injured a lot, yeah.
But yeah, so I'm gonna tip. Sorry, mate, Cronulla. I don't think you're gonna be able to pull this one out.
I tipped Raiders last week and Manly won. So do I tip Sharks and let Manly win again, or do I tip my team so they lose?
The team you've got,
I still like our forward pack better. Pretty even actually.
Yeah, I don't see you guys being able to pull it out 2 weeks ago. The only thing I see, it'd be a good battle between the halves. But you've got Lachlan Croker where they've got pretty experienced halves. Cherry Evans can't. His shoulders aren't that big.
They're getting bigger every week.
They're gonna. Yeah, but yeah, so
it really shows a backline lack of depth.
Yeah. Well, look, to be honest, Abbas Miski is not a bad player. I've seen him play for Lebanon in the World Cup. He's not bad.
He's played NRL, but
Yeah, I saw him
every
more
other
for
back
Lederer.
on the field over him.
Not Elliot. Not Elliot.
Yeah, Elliot's solid enough. He's been good for us. He was just crappy for you. I'd love us to win, but on paper, Sharks are the strongest side. Luckily, it's not.
Well, they're not only the
played on
strongest
grass.
side, but they're in form too. So their backline should run over yours, to be honest.
But Manly is the Sharks' bogey side, so they've only won 26% of the games they've played against us.
The only thing probably going in your favour is how inconsistent Cronulla can be. Like, you guys could pull it out.
I thought you just said they were in form.
No, they are in form the way they played last week. Some of their tries last week were amazing, but they can be inconsistent. And as we talked about,
they could Bulldogs.
That could be the reason that John Morris is under the pump.
Bulldogs fought back and they got better. Yeah, I know. I reckon we can pull it out. All right. What do we got? One to go.
Yeah. Okay. Bulldogs versus Tigers. So you've got Dylan Napa and Renoff Tumaga with Marshall King in the front row. We'll like point out that Aidan Tolman is number 21 on this list.
Yeah, after his quarantine.
Yeah. You're going to have to continue this one because my phone just broke.
Oh, yeah. You started in the forwards, didn't you?
Yep. You love when I do that.
Weirdo. All right. Renoff Tumaga and Dylan Napa are the starting props with Jeremy Marshall King at hooker. Josh Jackson, Raymond Fatala Marineri, second row with Adam Elliott at lock. In the backs there, Will Hopewade at fullback with Ramius Smith and Dallin Watene-Zelezniak on the wings, with Kerrod Holland and Jake Abrillo in the centres, Kieran Foran and Brandon Wakeham in the halves. That's almost their best back line, I think. Let's just find someone for Kerrod Holland.
Yeah.
I don't know who that someone is, but someone. In the change, Jack Cogger, Dean Britt, Suaso Su, and Alfiki Ogden. Reserves, Lachlan Lewis, Aidan Tolman, Nick Meaney, and Sione Katoa. So we'd expect Aidan Tolman to come into at least the interchange. Who would make way there? Oh, Christian Crichton's out in the back line, that's why. Nick Meaney. Yeah, I don't know. Who would you take out? Ogden was pretty good last week, I thought. Yeah. They're all guys. It could be any guy. For West Tigers, you got Adam Dewey at fullback with Norfolk Luma and Tommy Talau on the wings with Joseph Leilua and Moses Mbai in the centres. God, it was good to see Mbai play well last week. Yeah. LOI and Oliver Clark at starting prop with Harry Grant at hooker, Luke Garner, Luciano Leilua in the back row, and Matt Eisenhuth gets a start at lock this week. Good. Elijah Taylor's come onto the interchange with Thomas McKaylee, Sam McIntyre, and Michael Cheekham, meaning there are no positions available for Benji Marshall, Chris Lawrence, Billy Walters, and Reece Hoffman, who are in the reserves. So there's a fair bit of movement. So with Tigers, Robert Jennings, Zane Musgrove, and Alex Twile out with injuries we mentioned earlier. So Tommy Talau, Oliver Clark, and Matt Eisenhuth have come in. Elijah Taylor joined the bench. Oh, it's West Tigers' 500th game since entering the NRL Premiership in 2000. I've actually liked what I've seen from the Tigers. I'm a bit worried about their second half last week. That's what you have with a pretty inexperienced side when you get a big lead. They let the Cowboys back in it. Do the Bulldogs have enough strike to be able to get back in it if they do drop down that far? I'd say not. We can't cut the Bulldogs for effort. They don't have much X factor in their forwards, where I think the Tigers have a little in the way of Leilua and Garner, in Harry Grant. Adam Elliott's been playing really well for the Bulldogs. They get Tolman back after a 2-week break. Brandon Wakeham, Kieran Foran, another week together. I'm still going to go Tigers in this one.
Okay.
They're playing Bankwest. They've both been playing out of there. There's no real advantage either way.
I'm going to go Bulldogs.
Ooh. Okay.
I just love their effort. That's like, I know I said it a million times. I just love what they're doing with their effort, and I reckon here's my big call of the week that Kieran Foran's going to get man of the match. He's going to finally come back into his own and dominate the Tigers.
You know what's better than effort?
Quality.
Points.
Well, you can get points out of effort sometimes. I'm not saying the Bulldogs.
Oh, you can. You're not going to get 30.
Yeah. Well, look, Tigers can go either way. They can score 50 like they did last week, or they can have 50 put on them like they've done a few times this year as well.
Yeah, they can definitely do. So what John Napa say? Napa says players owe debt to besiege coach. Bloody oath you do. So this is an interesting week of tips because we've both gone Penrith, we've both gone Storm, we've both gone Roosters, we've both gone Titans. There's 5 games where we've so there's 3 games where we're split. I'm going Cowboys, you're going Knights. I'm going Parra, you're going Raiders, and I'm going Tigers, you're going Bulldogs. And I'll go Seagulls. Just because we seem to always like playing the Sharks, but I don't know if it's going to carry us the whole way this time, but we'll crack it anyway. That's actually kind of short and sweet for us compared to what we've been doing lately. Good luck with all your tips. Have fun with all your fantasy footy if you're playing, with all the injuries. Hope our best bets help you out. Gamble responsibly. Other than that, continue to like, share. We love chatting with you guys through Twitter. We'd love to be able to read some questions out. So shoot us some stuff. Anything from you, J-Rod?
No, I'm good. Let's hope Newcastle can score 50 points this weekend.
And let's hope Cowboys score 51. All right. I need that bet. All right, let's sign off. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to 6 Again. Connect with the show on Twitter, Instagram, and the 6 Again website. All links via the show's bio. Be sure to check out Adam's craft beer choice of the week.